in all honesty, I could say that that is Molly and just stop because that is exactly what Molly is going to be. Molly is going to be a combination of the things that I love, the things that I'm good at, the things that I can be paid for, and the things that I think the world needs. I'd like to give you all a formal introduction to my company, Molly. But to do it well, I do need to take a small step back and just contextualize the bigger picture a little bit. From when I was about 12, I've been finding various ways to make money by hook or by crook, and I mean that, and really just adopted a mindset that placed a high emphasis and value on money. And so I'm sure a lot of people would be able to relate to this, but going out into the world, having money being the driving force behind your decisions and what you think is accepted or what you deem acceptable in terms of how people are treated, how you are treated, it sets the stage for a crazy experience. And yeah, in my experience, it took me took me into so many different industries. Retail, I spent years in retail within running stores, then onto artisanal coffee shop and organic grocer, then into sales. I spent a year or so flying around the country for ASICs, doing sort of expos and presenting new technologies and training technical reps and so on. And eventually also into some more commercial industrial stuff, managing a commercial bakery for about 3.5 years. Um, Running bakeries is hard. All along that way, dealing with owners and managers and colleagues and colleagues that become friends, and sometimes I've seen things go really well, and I've also seen things go really bad, and seen people really unhappy and honestly just like mistreated in so many ways, misunderstood, not being seen, you know, and it's hectic. What I can say, and something that I'm very proud of, is really I just engaged so thoroughly all the way through the process, and that's not every day. Obviously, if you zoom in on the micro, was loads of up and downs, and some days feeling better and some days feeling worse, but as a sort of macro view, like really just putting my best foot forward, putting my energy in, and yeah, for that I am incredibly grateful. And it's necessary. It's been necessary for me because it's positioning. You learn what you like, you learn what you don't like. You learn the type of people that you enjoy working with. When you're feeling inspired, when you're feeling really motivated, when you're feeling really connected. You learn those feelings, and you see camaraderie. You see when teams are working well together. Being part of that experience is so beautiful, and I think that really gets me to sort of where my mind is at approaching my company today. And so I've been towing the line, as a sort of startup agile company, playing with AI, incorporating it into certain areas of the business, seeing where its shortcomings are, and I can, with 100% certainty right now, say that the point at which it is at, it has the capacity to free people from work that they don't want to do and allow them to focus on what they truly love. Like, we are in such a crazy time right now where we have access to technology and business processes that just weren't even fathomable, not so long ago. And I think this really is fundamentally such an important thing throughout an organization, right? From top to bottom. And so I've been battling with, this idea and this thought and sort of churning it around a lot in my head as to how I'd like to be and what I would like to do in a time like this. And honestly, the question is it's so big and it's so overwhelming. I was so fortunate to sort of be reminded of something that I read a long time ago, which is the ikigai. And it's a Japanese philosophy for, it's sort of symbolic of your purpose in life. And there is a practical process behind it, a thing that you can do. And so that's what I did. And I'll jump into that in another video to actually go through the practical example, because this is something that I implement in my company when dealing with founders or CEOs or executives. I encourage them and provide them with a template to do their ikigai, to really get back in touch with what their purpose is. And sort of have a visual reminder that you can reference as your sort of North Star and see and sort of critique yourself against. And so, I did that. And in all honesty, I could say that is Molly and just stop. Because that is exactly what Molly is going to be. Molly is going to be a combination of the things that I love, the things that I'm good at, the things that I can be paid for, and the things that I think the world needs. But yeah, I guess, to sort of tie a bow on it all, we've been a marketing agency for about 2.5 years, with a name change somewhere along the way, quite recently. And throughout this time, doing paid media, running social media accounts, doing content productions, building websites, publishing blogs, all of that. I have developed the systems and the processes and the management tools required to effectively manage those services, because ultimately that's, as the CEO, what I needed to be able to do. And now we're going into the space where, honestly, I am building tools and agents that lighten the workload for running a company so tremendously that I actually just can't not bring it into my direct focus for the next however long, to really help businesses practically implement artificial intelligent agents into their organization to just take out some of the unnecessary heavy lifting. And it seems crazy, because if you think about approaching, systemizing an entire organization, that is a tremendously huge task to accomplish. You think about all of the org charts that need to be created, from software by department to human resource organograms to just the general structure, company structure. Then how AI agents will be embedded initially will be first by creating organograms, AI agent organograms, so that you can effectively visually see them implemented into your company, where the handoffs are, who's responsible for each one of them, what tasks they perform, what software they leverage. This is what I really see as the sweet sauce when it comes to applying this into a bigger organization, is before jumping into the woods and getting tactical with sort of smaller tasks and things that can be alleviated and time that can be saved, but to first rather really take that step back, look at the organograms, draw out new organograms that incorporate AI, then really look at the documentation, audit the entire company's documentation per department. And this is where I've been getting really excited, because I've been, for the last couple months, slowly chipping away at this task within a organization, and I really have learned a lot in terms of just the sheer quantity, how much documentation exists within an organization, and honestly, like how bad it's usually set up and how bad it's usually stored, and all the different people that you need to communicate with, and oh my word, it's crazy. And so I've learned a lot, and it's been so fun to be able to so rapidly respond to those difficulties and those challenges by setting up more seamless workflows, SOP capture sequences and systems, AI SOP auditing agents, so that you can get a rapid audit over, it's such a large amount of documentation, and then obviously again really understanding that there's handoffs where it's necessary, those SOPs that then get created aren't just the final and accepted SOPs. Everything does need to get reviewed, everything does need to be read through. But taking this approach, what you then do is now you have this beautiful, organized, centralized knowledge bank and visual company structures and diagrams. And this just makes implementation of AI agents so much easier. It's crazy because now you have your own exact process up to date that you're able to implement into the AI agent training, as well as train it on the organizational charts. You're able to understand where each one of them sits. You can train them. You can train them so well if you have your documentation right and you have your organograms right, and that really excites me. And so this is exactly what I'm going to be doing. And I'm going to be building a service that I hope to be able to implement within more and more organizations, because I'm already seeing the impact that it does create, and help people and help business owners fall back in love with their business again, help employees fall back in love with their work process again, and lighten the workload where it's necessary, help lubricate the growth throughout a company, and really just help people have fun again, because honestly, we are going to spend so many years working. So, like, damn, let's have some fun, In the next 5 years, there are going to be more robots on this planet than humans. So it's like, come on, the whole world is going to change. Let's do what we love. Let's focus on the things that we're good at. Let's lean into what we believe we should bring into the world. Yeah, it's very exciting. So this has been a really long rant, but I did really want to get this out, and I really struggled to get this out, actually, because I guess it's hard to admit how much I still don't know, and how inexperienced and not ready I actually feel on the inside. And so that's just been such a major force and obstacle to try and wrap my head around it. And it's not that the feeling has gone away at all, but it is truly the fact that if I want to speak about the things as passionately and as confidently as I do want to speak about them, I have to live them out. And I know that it's not going to be like that every single day, but I need to embody the experience that I want to bring to the world. And honestly, I'm just not going to be scared of doing that. Everyone already knows that I'm going to fuck it up somewhere along the way. You all can already know that, and that's cool. So I'm not going to focus on that brain worm. I'm going to lean into what I have and play to my strengths, and instead of trying to fix up all the cracks of my weaknesses. Okay, so now that I finally have this introductory video out the way, just a little insight as to what you can expect. I'm going to be posting a lot of just sort of the general AI agent stuff that we are building, the workflows, interesting tasks that sort of happen throughout the course of the working experience and or throughout the course of the next couple months. And just trying to give you insight into the reality behind the scenes, of what we're doing. We'll definitely be sharing some of the results we've achieved, some of the things that we've accomplished within certain companies throughout the journey, and yeah, hopefully the energy and the vibe of this content and the things that we put out there can, attract one, the audience that I'm looking to speak to, and two, the people that I'm looking to work with. Because first and foremost, like, need to have fun, like, need to be excited to actually do work for you and with you. Otherwise, it's just always going to be subpar and it's never gonna hit the mark. So yeah, should be fun. And I'm just actually really happy to have this initial video done because it's been like a fucking monkey on my back. Yeah, gonna lean into it and hopefully just kind of snowball from here. So I'll see you around.